Now we're going to another crime and another terror attack, but from the other side. Amiram Ben Uliel was named and indicted for murder today as the central figure accused of perpetrating the July arson attack in Duma, which killed 3 members of the Dawabshi family. A second suspect, a minor, was also indicted, although his name remains under gag order. The development come after a 4-month investigation, which brought criticism from the Palestinians for its length and during which accusations of torture surfaced. I-24 News correspondent Matthias Inbal has more.
Pandemonium outside of a Lod courthouse. Inside the car, Amiram Ben Uliel, who was indicted Sunday over the July murder of 3 members of the Dawabshi family in Duma. Ben Uliel was also charged with being a member of a Jewish terrorist organization. His friends remain in denial.
I don't think he did it. According to his indictment, he did it alone. But burning 2 houses and tagging a wall, no one can do that alone, especially knowing that he only confessed after being tortured. There is no terrorist organization involved. There are people with a specific ideology who have done certain things, but there is no clandestine network.
A declaration refuted by the prosecutor of Tel Aviv as he indicted a second person, this time a minor. Though the minor's identity is under a gag order, here's what he said openly just 1 year ago.
We only trust God. We're not scared. We will fight until there is a Jewish country and until the 3rd temple is built.
Lawyer Itamar Ben-Gvir rejected the version of events depicted by the court and Israel's intelligence agency, the Shabak. At the heart of the discussion, the conditions under which the defendants confessed.
The Shabak has done everything behind closed doors. They don't want the torture to be revealed. They do not want their abuses to be revealed. They do not want our accusations against them to be heard.
Amiram Ben Uliel's wife believes he is innocent. She too is contesting the evidence presented to the court.
Amir.
There's a sort of hocus pocus here by the Shin Bet. The difference between intelligence and law enforcement is the intelligence is supposed to foil something which did not happen yet, and therefore they have special permits, even to torture someone. Law enforcement goes for indictment because they want to say that these people are going to plan something else. They consider them a subversive organization.
Yes, Amir Oren, thank you very much for this. And earlier I had the opportunity to sit down with Nasser Dawabshi, the uncle of 18-month-old Ali, who was killed in the Duma attack. Here's an excerpt. Mr. Dawabshi, thank you very much for joining me, and thank you very much for this interview. I would like to ask you, to start and ask you, how do you feel? How's the family feeling today?
Thank you for having me. Well, of course we're angry and shocked over the news that only 2 people will be indicted, one of which is an adult and the other a minor. The main culprit in the burning of the Dawabshi family is 21 years old. The second one is not considered a main suspect, as the indictment states that he did not actively participate in the crime. It's our impression that the number of people who participated in this crime is around 10 or 15, but they've been reduced to 1 person only in the trial.
From where do you have the information that we're talking about more than 2 people, that we're talking around 10 to 15 people?
This type of crime requires far more than 1 or 2 people. Witnesses say they saw at least 2 in the Dawabshi family home, 1 next to the mother and the other next to the father. But the indictment says only 1 person committed the crime, while the other was only part of the planning. When the Israeli police first contacted us, they mentioned more than 5 or 4 people. Unfortunately now, only 1 person will be held accountable.
Are you, let's say, satisfied with the way that the Israeli government and the Israeli security forces handled this case?
Of course not. Israeli authorities could have prevented this crime from occurring in the first place. We live in an area controlled by Israel. Also, there have been television broadcasts showing how settlers train in burning homes of Palestinians, to the point where they are shown placing a burning tire outside the door to prevent the families inside from escaping the burning house. Secondly, the investigation took 5 months, which goes to show you that Israeli authorities don't think Palestinian blood has any value. And thirdly, these settlers are supported by the Israeli government. The settlers were monitoring the houses in Duma from the surrounding settlements, where they are supported by the Israeli government and the Israeli occupation forces. The army is supposed to protect Palestinians from the aggression of settlers. But eventually, even ministers in the Israeli government support and condone the actions taken by these settlers. It's up to the Israeli government to prevent racism and discrimination against Palestinians. But meanwhile, there is growing incitement against Palestinians in the Israeli far-right media. Prime Minister Netanyahu had promised to punish these criminals, including tearing down their homes. But this was only because he was under tremendous pressure. There's no doubt in my mind that Netanyahu is the weakest link in the Israeli government. Israel suffers from a crisis of leadership. There's no leader in Israel who can put a stop to settler violence.
You know, obviously in this situation, and of course the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is something that has been going on for a long time. Right now I'm hearing you blaming the Israeli side, and of course I understand your pain. And do you think that on the other side, because you're saying that there is lack of leadership in the Israeli side, do you think that on the other side, on the Palestinian side, there is a leadership that is willing to end this conflict once and for all, and to end the murder and the death from both sides?
Yes, on the Palestinian side, President Mahmoud Abbas acts continuously to end the occupation and the suffering of the Palestinian people. But unfortunately, the Israeli government turns its back on all prospects of reaching a deal with the Palestinians. The Israeli government, which is supported by international powers, including the US, does not seek to end the occupation. And this is our first and main goal: freedom, to end the occupation for our generation and the generation of our children. The only people still living under occupation in the entire world is the Palestinian people. Enough with the occupation. The occupation must end.
Nasser Dawabshi, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.